Hey, this is Foxy HipHop, and I'm going to do a album spotlight today. I want to look at the game's Jesus Piece. Game's dropping Drillmatic, hopefully another week or so if it doesn't get delayed again. And there's been like a ton of interviews with the game. A lot of people always talk about documentary, sometimes LAX and how bad it was. But I don't hear a lot of people talk about fucking Jesus Piece. And when I think about like the game's discography, this is a fucking gem. Maybe just below a classic, but it's right up there. And this one I've been fucking listening to for it feels like, it's pretty much a decade, and it's definitely my favorite game album. So let me walk through some of the tracks if you haven't went through this one. Uh, let's get maybe like the bad shit out of the way. There's 15 tracks on this one. If there's any to watch out for, the big offenders would be All That, which was actually one of like the singles they picked for this fucking album. Maybe that's why it's a bit underrated. Just kind of corny shit. Has this like awful Big Sean verse where he fucking gets. Big Sean's already known for having corny bars, but this is one of these tracks that probably underscores that. There's this Toy Story bar. If you want to hear some cringe shit, throw it on. But, the fabulous verse is whatever. Same with, like, the Lil Wayne. And the beat's just not something that... I hate game on these types of beats, so skip all that. The other one's Celebration, which this one sounds more like a Chris Brown track more so than a game track. And, they were trying to make some kind of club banger with this one, and it kind of falls flat. Sad to see Lil Wayne on two, like, really shit verses on one album. So those are the two, like, pain spots of the album. The only other one that's kind of meh is the opener, and maybe this is why this album hasn't got as much traction, is people kind of hit the first track and they listen to it. And this is an awful Scared Now game, Meek Mill. On paper, this should be dope. The beat's kind of spooky, but the actual like bars on it are kind of meh. Game just really doesn't come with anything too catchy, and the Meek verse at the end just can't save this one. But hopefully you don't hop off right at this point, because holy shit, this album just goes fucking nuts from here. Alabumaye, fuck, I hate saying that one. Okay, the production, if you haven't heard this one, is fucking insane. This fucking drum beat that just kind of kicks in, and then it fucking transitions into this fucking 2 Chainz fucking opener. It's fucking wild. Like, check this one out. Of any of them, to like get a taste for what this album brings, this is a great point. Obviously, this one has a lot of attraction, and for good reason. I love the Rick Ross verse on this one too, with like the fucking Johnny Cochran fucking line. It's so fucking sweet, and he just kind of comes so like suave under this, and the way Game kind of weaves between the verses with 2 Chainz and Rick Ross, it's fucking sick, man. And then like right after that you get into this Jesus Piece, and like the fucking kind of church vibes even pick up a bit more. You can feel that fucking Kanye influence on this one, even doing the hook. And Game's just going so hard lyrically on these tracks, and sometimes like he'd be already all over the place on it, but like Jesus Piece, dope. And then Common kind of comes in and like provides such like a different feel on this track, but still fucking kills it. Common always gonna be like really lyrical, and he didn't fucking let us down on this one, so it's sick. And then you go from Jesus Piece, and then for fucking like triple whammy, fucking Pray, you get the like another kind of vibe switch. It goes like a little bit less holy, and a little bit more into like this kind of sentimental track about like women going through their struggle and their abusive relationship, and Game and J. Cole's fucking dealings with that. They both kind of have like a different view on it, but like the flows, the lyrics are so fucking deep on this shit. Like I'm surprised there's not more J. Cole Game tracks with like how fucking dope this one is. So like this 3-pack here, what a fucking set to open this fucking album up with. Church is kind of probably the clubby track that All That needed to be. And this one's a little bit more lighthearted. It's like Game's perception of church and the women who attend the service, and Game's kind of keeping it like more simple on this one. Like the Trey Songz bridge is okay. Like the overall production on this one, and it's kind of like a theme throughout the album. Like the tracks really feel like they fucking flow into each other, and the sequencing is really good. Like things kind of like build up lyrically, get real fucking hard or deep, and then boom, you kind of like get a song that kind of pull you back a little bit. You kind of have two here between like all that, but then things kind of really kind of kick back up with Heaven Arms, which starts off with like this drum kick and kind of Gladiator type sample, and then fucking it kind of ramps even higher up through like the first like 30 seconds of the track, and Game is just laying down just straight bars again. And this is kind of one of the themes of this album, is like I find it was one of Game's more lyrical projects, where it wasn't necessarily about kind of making like those big West Coast vibes, but really kind of being like more on like Game's type of like Nas influence, I would say. Game always mentions being like a huge Nas fan, and sometimes he's like in the zone there, and that's kind of like the way I see this focus from Game, is he's kind of on that vibe. Not that he's biting Nas in any way, but I feel like the focus was definitely on the bars, and like holy shit, yeah, Heaven Arms is so sick with it. The Kim Kanye bar really aged well on this one too, so maybe listen to this one just to kind of smile at that one. Name Me King, fucking sick. The Pusha T fucking hook on this one, and the way like he opens a track just works so well with this production, and the hook's brilliant. And like even like the premise of the song, it's just great. Like these opera vibes that are through it. Pusha T offers like so much flow variety too. He kind of breaks up like Game sound on the song, which kind of gives you like a nice feel when you're coming off the back of Heaven's Arms, because Game's still kind of spitting in like hard bar mode on this one too. And if like he didn't have a guest and this was like another three verses like that, maybe it started to get like a touch stale, but like Pusha T just adds so much to it. And then shit goes even crazier. Like you go in the See No Evil, and the song just gets fucking ominous. It's just like an ominous vibe right off it, and like Game comes in with this like really bleak kind of like subtle flow, and just fucking spitting some hard hood shit. And the line about being in the coma and his grandma almost pulling the fucking plug on him, that shit like gives me fucking chills, man. Like this is some real shit. Fucking love this one. And like Game comes like so hard on it, and then you're like, oh wait, I forgot Kendrick's on the song. What the fuck's Kendrick coming with? And Kendrick is not going to get outshined on this. He kind of brings his own like kind of like really kind of subdued energy on it, but he's got some flow switches and this like really lyrical play throughout his verse. And this song just comes together. This has got to be one of the highlights on the album too. Fucking incredible. Fucking dope. You can't go wrong with it. Where do we go from here? We go in the Can't Get Right. This one is probably like a step back on the lyrical bar front after like once again another like 3 set of songs where Game's going crazy, and we have like one of these like Game kind of apology / kind of address the industry type tracks where he's fucking laying out his laundry. These have been kind of hit or miss over the Game albums. I actually like this one a bit better because it actually feels more like a song, where a lot of them just kind of feel like, bars that maybe should have just been like cut up. But Game really comes with like a lot of sentiment. I like the way the verses get broken up, and like the Roosevelt bridges between it really kind of build things and kind of bring like this holy like repentance type vibe throughout the track. Dope. And then we go into Hallelujah, where you got this Jamie Foxx, another kind of like church choir inspired type production on it. This one's not quite as deep as some of the other tracks. Game's kind of like talking about not judging bad hoes in the fucking church, and he's struggling to keep his shit together during the service, and all the shit running through his mind, and what he perceives their fucking thinking, and all the different dynamics that are playing out, but he's trying to keep it straight for God. It's like the fucking internal structure, the internal struggle, sorry, on this one. And the hook on this one's pretty addicting too. Holla motherfucking Luya, like it's all right. It's it's not my favorite on the track, and probably if I had to do like a 5-track cut off this and bring it down to 10, this one might not make it, but it's not as offensive as some of the other ones that I mentioned, and it's kind of a nice bridge track to light things up. Freedom. This one's actually a little bit surprising. When it starts up, I actually kind of almost instinctively want to hit skip on it, because it takes about 30 seconds for this song to really kind of fucking light up for me. And this is like another kind of game track where he's like reminiscing on like his like hip hop beginnings and rising. He talks about fucking Eminem and getting fucking murdered on his fucking own shit, and it's kind of funny if you think about it, because Game's really been talking a lot about M fucking again and wanting to battle him. It'd be interesting to see. I feel like Game's talking a little bit of shit. I'm sure he'd get in there. Eminem in a battle is no joke for anybody, but if you want to talk like discographies, I think there's a fucking debate there. I wouldn't just reach for the Eminem discography over the Game discography. The Game discography probably has more fucking filler, and we'll go through that if we ever fucking do a tier list on the Game. He's got so many fucking mixtapes and records, though. That one's it's a lot of listening. But anyways, I digress. Anyway, so Freedom, not too bad. Celebration, like I said, this is the other kind of skip track on this album between that and all that. So definitely skip it. Of course, this one's got all the plays, but shit. I remember part of the kind of outro sequence of this album, catchy ass hook. I'm not like the biggest Future fan, but like I like his contributions on this one. His flow and his ad-libs really kind of like tie this one together. The Jeezy fucking verse in the middle is fucking hard as shit. Game is probably the one with like the questionable verse on this one, but overall the overall vibe of the track is just fucking dope though. And we can probably get by with the suboptimal Game verse on it, because everything else is so good. And then we close the album off with Blood Diamonds, which is just like this African-inspired production, but it still has like a lot of these holy type influences infused into the mix. Game comes with another like set of like hard verses on it. I actually really like the line where he's talking about fucking the Lincoln flip and smoking in the Lincoln. As well as like the Obama line's fucking sick as well, the way he kind of cues that up. The way the production switches when Game's like getting really technical, it kind of gets really soft and does like a slower build up towards the end of the song. What a fucking great closer. Like Game doesn't leave this one kind of open. He closes the album off with like 2 more hard tracks. Real lyrical ender too, really kind of leaving a lot of his personal thoughts and fucking, bars on the line there. But that's fucking Jesus Piece. This is one of my favorite albums by Game, and if I had to make like a collection of like top 50 hip hop records, this one would probably be on the fucking list for sure. Like, it's fucking solid listen. Front to back. Do you love this shit? Is there another Game album you think fucking sits on top of this one? Hopefully Drillmatic's dope. But yeah, it's Foxy Hip Hop. I'm out.